Bonjour à tous. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here partnering with the Conférence de Montréal once again. And for those who aren't familiar, Concordia est une université de 50 000 étudiants, dont 10 000 sont internationaux, provenant de plus de 150 pays. Nous comptons également une réseau de plus de 250 000 diplômés au travers le monde. Since 2019, Concordia has been ranked as the top university in North America, less than 50 years old. Notre classement reflète notre approche nouvelle génération à l'enseignement, ainsi que l'alignement de nos travaux de recherche avec les défis importants auxquels la société est confrontée, comme entre autres la cybersécurité, l'intelligence artificielle appliquée, les arts numériques, la biologie synthétique, le vieillissement de la population et la durabilité. Et à Concordia, nous révélons des défis audacieux. We kicked off the year by committing to offer every incoming undergraduate student at least one experiential learning opportunity during their studies, either through co-op, work study, startup mentorship, or study abroad. In April, we received a Canada First Research Excellence Fund grant, which is a platinum competition for Government of Canada funding. Specifically, we were awarded $123 million over 7 years to work with industry, university partners, government, including the Government of Quebec and la Ville de Montréal, Indigenous and not-for-profit partners to amplify our world leadership position in electrifications, smart building, and net zero communities. Et il y a quelques mois, nous avons lancé notre initiative Planète Zéro, un plan d'action complet visant à décarboner nos 2 campus d'ici 2040. Nous sommes fiers de notre contribution positive locale, mais notre vision et notre engagement sont mondiaux. Over the years, Concordia has established hundreds of partnerships with universities around the world. But today, we're excited to announce something even bolder, more ambitious, the launch of Concordia's Africa Initiative. Why Africa? Because Africa has the distinction of being the youngest continent on the planet, but also a place of extraordinary social, cultural, and economic power and diversity. Why now? Because half of the population of the continent of Africa is under the age of 21. Today, 19 of the world's 20 youngest countries are in Africa. And by 2030, the United Nations projects that 20% of the world's population will be from an African country. These realities signal extraordinary potential and exciting opportunities, not only for Africa, but for the world as a whole. So what are we proposing? The Concordia Initiative is about establishing relationships through strategic collaborations that focus on entrepreneurship, youth employability, and next-gen scholarly collaboration, areas where Concordia University has demonstrated experience and leadership. Our initiative is comprised of 3 streams. Stream 1 is called AFRISE, and it supports young African entrepreneurs through mentorship, business incubation, and networking opportunities with leaders and potential funders in and outside Africa. And later, you will hear from 5 entrepreneurs who were selected to speak about their projects from a pool of more than 400 applicants. Stream 2 is called FutureWise. Together with local and international partners, specifically the Agence Universitaire de la Francophonie, but also with the Association of Commonwealth Universities and the Association of African Universities, we surveyed thousands of young Africans to learn more about their professional aspirations. We also consulted directly with African business leaders to identify the skills they need to grow and thrive. Working with local universities, namely the University of Lagos in Nigeria, the University of Ghana, Makerere University in Uganda, Université Mohamed VI Polytechnique in Morocco, and Subdeco in Senegal, we are and building on the experience of Concordia, our aim together is to design next-gen educational programs, such as cooperative education with industries, internships, field schools, hackathons, and case competitions that equip African youth with comprehensive skills that help close the gap between graduation and employment rates. And finally, Stream 3 is about scholarly programs. It's a bit more classical in orientation and focuses on fostering our academic partnerships and exchanges with African scholars and artists with a specific focus on science, technology, and the creative industries. At the core of our approach is the concept that knowledge and learning have to go both ways. A project that aims to work with youth in Africa can't just be about talent recruitment, it has to be about talent empowerment, and what we here in Quebec and Canada and the West more generally can learn from tapping into new sources of ideas, new channels of creativity, and new forms of innovation. And this also means recognizing that universities, whether it's Concordia or other Western universities, certainly don't have a monopoly on knowledge and need to work on the ground with community groups and NGOs, as well as with industry, university partners, and governments to incubate change. One project which illustrates this and has been running successfully for a decade now is a collaboration between Concordia's Center for the Study of Learning and Performance and the Aga Khan Academic Network in Canada. Youth empowerment begins with literacy, and our joint project has been to deploy digital toolkits to transform how teachers in Kenya teach and how students learn basic reading and writing skills at the primary level to equip them for success later on. In 2017, UNESCO awarded this project its prestigious King Sejong Literacy Prize. To reiterate, the Concordia Africa Initiative is founded on partnership and exchange, but driven by a desire to be inclusive, action-oriented, and innovative. And I invite you to learn more about it on our website, concordia.ca. As you can probably tell, I'm very excited about this initiative and incredibly hopeful about the potential that it holds. However, my message wouldn't be complete if I didn't add this. Please don't just watch us, please find ways to join us. Yes, the Concordia Africa Initiative provides a wonderful opportunity to foster and accelerate the partnerships and exchanges with Africa, but we need you. Together we can do more and better for the future of youth and with youth in Africa and the world. And now it's my pleasure to present Hawa, the leader of the Concordia Africa Initiative, to lead the discussion to follow. Hawa, over to you.
So as our esteemed president mentioned, higher education institutions play a very central role in our communities, not only locally, but also globally. And particularly in places where we have a young population, and we mentioned it earlier, Africa is definitely the youngest continent in the world. So when we think about young people, we think a lot about energy, we think about creativity, but also opportunity and innovation, which is why it is such an important element to really invest in talents, in young talents, and specifically in Africa, where we have such a young population. So despite the challenges like, let's say, social inclusion, job access, we can notice a truly dynamic youth, and particularly through their entrepreneurial ventures. This is why today, yes, I'm not going to do a monologue, do not worry, but we have amongst us 5 entrepreneurs who have participated to the AfRise Challenge, and they're amongst the first beneficiary of the Concordia Africa initiative. So they went through a very selective process with over 400 other candidates, where they were able to participate to a boot camp, but also mentorship and access to potential investors. So we are very delighted to have amongst us entrepreneurs from Morocco, Senegal, Nigeria, and Kenya. So they're on their side, they're really positively impacting their societies, but also look forward to have economic empowerment thanks to their own ventures. Because yes, entrepreneurship is important in order to create your wealth, in order to be economically independent, but they really find innovative ways to impact their own communities and even beyond. So in this panel, we will discuss with them and learn about not only their challenges, but also the opportunities that they've been able to seize. We would like to also take the time to thank the organizations and the collaborators for the AfRise Challenge, including District 3, which is our innovation center, but also African institutions such as AfriLabs and Insight Ventures. So unfortunately, as I mentioned, they are not necessarily present with us today in person due to unforeseen visa delays, but they are definitely at heart with us, and we have a very interesting panel with all of them. So the first person with who I will ask a question is Olalekan. So Olalekan is the founder and CEO of OneID, and from Nigeria, where he found definitely a different way to be able to identify people where, for example, having access to certain idea can be an issue. So talking about Nigeria, we know that Nigeria is we talk about it as the African giant. Today, it is around 200 million people that live over there, and we expect this population to double by 2050 to be 400 million people there. Around almost 20% of the GDP in Africa is actually coming from Nigeria. So we know Nigeria as a dynamic powerhouse, and particularly in business within the African continent. But despite these big numbers and dynamism, we also know that youth face certain challenges, such as having access to employability, having access to economic empowerment and independency. And so, like many others, like Lokan, they are looking forward for entrepreneurship as a solution for them. So my question for you, Lekan, is in the context of high demographic growth, how has your entrepreneurial journey exemplified the potential of entrepreneurship as a sustainable solution for empowering African youth while fostering economic growth? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dieng. I'm the founder and CEO of OneID Global Technologies, a digital ID company based in Lagos, Nigeria. We offer digital ID management services, authentication, single sign-on authentication, address verification services. Some of the achievements that we've made so far, we launched our mobile app in November, and we've been able to onboard about 5,000 customers. We've created a conversation around data privacy and security, which is like a very, very big deal. So to just give you a background, in 2014, I was going to create a bank account, right? And I didn't have a government issued ID. And if you look at the stats right now, over a billion people globally don't have a form of government issued ID. You bring that number to Africa, over 500 million people don't have a form of government issued ID. And in Nigeria, with about 200 million population, less than 60% of that number has government issued ID. It means that they can't have access to government services, or they can't have access to banking services. Basically, it's a nightmare, right? So this is a problem that we're largely solving. Um, Impersonation, identity theft, and fraud is a really big major concern for a lot of companies, right? They spend so much money year in, year out trying to ensure that the customers onboarded onto their platform are who they say they are and know that somebody else has stolen their identity to create an account on their platform, right? So OneID is positioning itself to be a game changer in the digital ID space by ensuring that customers' data are well protected. They are able to their devices can serve as an ID on the go for them, so that even at times when they don't have the physical copy, they can always have universal access to any business or financial services that we've integrated with. Um, it's going to be a one-stop shop for accessing the likes of education services, health services, telecommunication services, banking, and financial services. Basically, it's going to be a window of universal access to everything that you can think of without having to worry about identity theft, impersonation, and fraud, because a lot of businesses are going digital, and there has to be a more digital way to either identify customers or to verify them, right? You can't wait for when your bank says, oh, scan us a copy of your passport, scan us a copy of your address, scan us a copy of your utility bill. That is what is still happening in this age of AIs, right? So what we have done is to find a way to ensure that the system is integrated and there's a seamless transition of data of customer to businesses. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lekan, for explaining the context in which you've created your own business and empowering yourself and your community. The other person that we have in mind is from Senegal, Amadou. Donc, on serait vraiment heureux de connaître davantage de ton entreprise. Merci.
97%. En Afrique, 97% du flux de transport de marchandises se fait par voie routière. Ceci dit, au Sénégal, comme partout ailleurs en Afrique, lorsque vous commandez un camion, 9 fois sur 10, le transporteur ne respectera pas ses engagements. Salut, moi c'est Amadou Dieng, fondateur de Buur Logistique, et notre mission est de moderniser la logistique à l'aide de nos bases de données. Et le marché est tout juste énorme. Rien qu'au Sénégal, les richesses générées par le transport se chiffrent à plus de 275 milliards. Et à l'échelle continentale, avec les accords de Regxta, la Banque mondiale prévoit que ce chiffre s'élèvera à plus de 10 000 milliards de dollars avec une croissance annuelle de 10% à l'horizon 2030. C'est tout juste une grosse opportunité, mais il y a de gros problèmes. Déjà qu'il est difficile d'avoir un camion disponible en Afrique ou même au Sénégal, et même si vous réussissez à en avoir, vous êtes sûr que votre transporteur il arrivera en retard. Par exemple, quand il nous fallait livrer des pièces de rechange pour la centrale éolienne de Taïba, qui est loin de nos clients, et ben, une fois sur 10, le transporteur avait des problèmes avec la police dû à son manque de formalisme, ou tout simplement des pannes. Alors imaginez l'arrêt d'une centrale électrique sur la population, c'est tout juste dramatique. C'est pour cela que nous avons fondé Buur Logistique, une start-up qui, grâce à ses bases de données qualifiées et agrégées, permet à ses clients, qui sont les entreprises de logistique, les entreprises de commerce d'e-commerce, les industries, les entreprises de BTP, les miniers et même les pétroliers, de bénéficier d'un camion à temps et d'un suivi personnalisé. Voilà comment ça marche, c'est très simple. Le client se rend sur la plateforme bourlogistique.com, il passe sa commande, notre opérateur vérifie dans nos bases de données les camions susceptibles de faire le travail, il négocie et attribue la course et le transporteur part avec un superviseur de l'équipe Buur Logistique, tout ceci en 45 minutes. Aujourd'hui, Buur Logistique, c'est plus de 3500 drivers africains dans ces bases de données, plus de 1500 courses effectuées et plus d'1,1 milliard de requests en termes de requests chiffrés. Présentement, nous sommes au Sénégal, mais dans les 3 ans à venir, nous aimerions être dans 3 pays, le Maroc, le Mali et la Côte d'Ivoire. Effectuer plus de 200 courses sur le corridor Dakar-Bamako pour faire plus de 200 millions de chiffres d'affaires. Pour ce faire, nous devons améliorer la version finale de notre plateforme, consolider nos partenariats avec les freight forwarders qui sont au Sénégal et dans les différents 5 pays où nous intervenons, qui sont la Guinée, le Mali, le Burkina Faso, le Maroc et bien sûr la Gambie. Et aussi consolider nos clients qui sont dans ces différents pays d'intervention où nous avons des présences opérationnelles. Pour ce faire, nous avons une équipe composée de sales, d'opérationnels, de comptables et de web développeurs, bien sûr. Donc, ne manquez pas l'opportunité de nous rejoindre dans l'aventure pour logistique, pour réinventer la logistique en Afrique et partout ailleurs. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Amadou. Alors, un élément aussi qui est très, très important, et puis je pense que c'est le thème de cette conférence, c'est le développement durable, comment est-ce qu'on arrive à s'adapter aux nouveaux enjeux climatiques. Donc, nous sommes vraiment contents de connaître cette entreprise Jodoor de Sokayna. Sokayna vient du Maroc, so Sokayna is an entrepreneur from Morocco, and they have founded their business in agribusiness related to climate resilience. So looking forward to hear from you, Sokayna.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing great. First of all, I want to thank the organizing team for this unique opportunity, starting from Concordia University, represented by Hawa, and also Inside Venture and District 3 Innovation for this really interesting opportunity to share our experience in the African startup ecosystem and also to know more about the Canadian startup ecosystem as well. Unfortunately, we didn't have the opportunity to attend in person, but fortunately, we had this occasion to share our experience virtually. So, my name is Sokayna Bellam, and I am the co-founder of the agri-tech startup Jodoor. Before starting talking about Jodoor, I would like to ask you to imagine a world where traditional farmers are no longer suffering from the devastating effects of climate change and water scarcity. Picture a future where agriculture is sustainable, resilient, and empowers local communities. This is actually the vision of our startup Jodoor, which is not only a startup but also a movement that aims to revolutionize farming in Morocco and Africa. At the heart of our mission, there is a traditional farmer called Hamid. He is a small farmer from a Moroccan countryside. His story is all too common among millions of farmers who face similar struggles. When a drought hit this year, Hamid lost 85% on his annual income, putting his family's well-being and survival at risk. But determined to continue farming, Hamid could only pray for enough water and rainfall to sustain his livelihood. This is why Jodoor was born. Jodoor was born out of a deep desire to address the challenges faced by Hamid and countless others. And our solution lies on democratizing the access to soilless controlled environment agriculture, which is known as hydroponics. We actually offer affordable hydroponic controlled greenhouses to every farmer, enabling them to grow crops without soil in a recirculating system. And through rigorous research and development that we have conducted, we have developed an MVP that yields 20 times more produce, saves 80% on water and 60% on fertilizers compared to traditional agriculture, and ensures pesticide-free and highly nutritious leafy vegetables throughout the year with a fixed quality and quantity. And this solution helps farmers to earn sustainable income while facing the climate change struggles. But our ambitions don't stop there. We have created an industrial prototype specifically designed for the climate and investment also needs of Morocco and Africa. And as we work towards becoming the first hydroponic manufacturer in Morocco and then in Africa, we invite all stakeholders to join us in this movement and to take action with us. Jodoor, as I mentioned before, is not only a startup, but it's a call to action. And our team of dedicated engineers that shares the same mindset and the same vision and ambition. We have varied profiles and very, very strong experience in the field. We are committed to empowering traditional farmers, promoting sustainability, and also increasing women's participation in the agricultural sector. And to achieve our goals, we need all kinds of support because together we can bring climate change resilience and food sovereignty to Morocco in Africa. So let us sow the seeds of transformation and cultivate a brighter future for farmers just like Hamid. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sokayna. Yes, it's pretty impressive, especially most of them are not even 30 years old and already they've been able to start their venture. So it's never too early to start and also good to believe in our youth. The next entrepreneur that we have is also from Nigeria. So Rukayat has created a platform to support other entrepreneurs, and we'll be very happy to learn about your own venture and how you impact your community. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bello Rukayat. I'm the founder and CEO of Regxta. People call me Madam Grassroots because of the love I have for the people at the bottom of the pyramid. According to International Finance Corporation in 2023, there are over 600 million micro businesses in Africa, and only 20% have access to bank loan. This cripples the economy, increases poverty and hunger, and also unemployment in Africa. The remaining 80% do not have access to bank loan because they could not meet the minimum banking requirements. They could either afford nor operate smartphones, and they are geographically disadvantaged. So in 2021, I decided to join in changing the narrative by launching Regxta as an inclusive digital platform to provide quick, easy, and simple access to financial services for the unbanked and micro businesses in rural and peri-urban community in Africa. Our mobile app is powered by advanced data science and artificial intelligence that instantly underwrites and disburses loan to people with no borrowing history. Our users can open an account, save their money, and generate financial records through our well-trained community agents. They can even access micro pension and micro insurance to secure their businesses and their future. Our technology uses artificial intelligence to combat fraud, to also automate our credit assessment and data analytics for quick and accurate decision. In as much as we want to grow the micro businesses, but we prioritize women the most because they are marginalized, they are faithful, they are loyal and committed to develop or grow their community and family.
Thanks a lot, Rukayat. Now we will go to the next and last business to present. It's very important that we get to know where they're coming from, what are their ventures, before even discussing about other challenges and opportunities that they face as entrepreneurs. So the next one is Brian. He's coming from Kenya and had created a fintech and edtech company to ensure better access of education to everyone. So Brian, very happy to know more about your business.
Hello everyone, my name is Ndege, CEO and co-founder at Karopay. Today, I want to share with you our incredible journey and the positive impact we've made in our community. With the help of scholarships, I completed my education in financial economics and pursued further studies in insurance. My experience in the finance department of a paid solar company highlighted the importance of credit and savings. This journey ignited my desire to develop my business acumen, ultimately leading to the creation of Karopay. Sub-Saharan Africa is projected to have the highest number of out-of-school going children in the near future. And at Karopay, our mission is to increase accessibility to quality education in the region. SDG 4 aims to ensure inclusive and quality education for all. Our groundbreaking technology, Msoma, addresses affordability by leveraging financial instruments. Msoma is a mobile application and USSD service that empowers parents to save, pay, access credit, and transfer funds for education. To further promote sustainable quality education, we offer learning institutions Shule Club, a technology linked to Msoma, designed to optimize operations in the education sector. Our uniqueness lies in our approach. Together, we've built Karopay into a household name in Kenya with an unwavering commitment to making a positive impact in our community. Despite facing significant financial constraints, Karopay tenaciously pursued its mission of increasing accessibility to quality education. The endeavor to develop and implement Msoma and Shule Cloud was particularly challenging due to the high costs involved in building the necessary infrastructure. From hiring skilled developers and investing in robust servers to continuous maintenance and scaling efforts, the financial burden seemed formidable. However, Karopay's unwavering commitment, collaborations, and resourcefulness propelled us, leading to the identification of opportunities in the education sector. The shift towards digital solutions during the COVID-19 pandemic provided a unique opening for the adoption of Msoma and Shule Cloud in schools. While strategic partnerships with insurance firms, school owners associations, and NGOs supporting children bolstered their reach and impact, enabling them to surmount financial constraints and bring their vision of accessible education to fruition in sub-Saharan Africa. My greatest achievement lies in transforming the lives of countless children and families. Through our innovative platform, we have revolutionized how parents pay fees, save for education, and sponsor unprivileged children. As we forge ahead, our commitment remains steadfast. We will continue expanding our reach, touching the lives of even more families, and transforming the educational landscape here in Kenya. Our vision is a world where no child is denied access to quality education due to financial constraints. With your support, we can turn this vision into a reality. Let us stand together, believing in the power of education and working tirelessly to create a brighter future for children everywhere. Thank you for being part of our extraordinary journey and for your unwavering belief in the potential of the children, every child in Kenya.
Thank you so much, Brian, and thank you all of you five for introducing us your business and also the world around it. Now, let's start the conversation. I would like to start, first of all, with Olalekan about youth economic empowerment and the role that entrepreneurship has in it. And as I mentioned earlier, with the context of Nigeria, with a particularly high demographic growth and a very important population over there, particularly young people, how does entrepreneurship and creating your own business venture can be a solution for economic empowerment? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hawa, for that question. I think it's an interesting start. 400 million people by 2050. That just shows you how active Nigerians are as a people, not just in that area. We're very business-oriented people. We love to solve problems that would create monetary value in return. And if you take a look at, as an example, take a look at the music industry in Nigeria, which is really booming all over the world. If you take a look at some of the artists, Wizkid, he's won a Grammys Award. He's performed with, he's collaborated with Beyonce. You look at Burna Boy, he's all over the place. Right? I'm sure everybody knows. Last night, everybody go chop breakfast. I'm sure that's that's something that everybody does right now. And then you have the likes of Davido, who also performed during the World Cup. I mean, this trait just shows you how much energy that Nigerian youths have in them, and they want to be able to channel that energy into anything productive, whether it's creating comedy, creating skits, maybe starting their own businesses or even building a startup, right? So I see this more as an avenue for people to get creative with their time and also contribute to building the economy, whether traditionally or digitally. YouTube recently had an African influencer like an awards night sort of, and it was a night filled with a lot of influencers from Nigeria and I think across Africa, but it was mostly dominated by a lot of Nigerians, and that just shows you that this is also contributing to the GDP, because if YouTube can recognize that, then there is something there in the youth that they are doing right, and I feel like they would just continue to do that better.
Thank you, Lekan. So now let's go back to Sénégal avec Amadou. Donc, comme on le sait, une grande partie des économies qui grandissent le plus vite se trouvent en Afrique. Donc, 5 sur 10 en réalité se trouvent en Afrique en 2022, et dont le Sénégal. Alors, on sait que c'est un continent qui se distingue particulièrement, encore une fois, grâce à sa population qui est très jeune, mais aussi un niveau d'entrepreneuriat particulièrement élevé. Et quand on pense aux entrepreneurs, on pense beaucoup à l'innovation. Donc chacun essaye de trouver à sa manière de non seulement se distinguer, mais trouver des solutions à des problèmes qu'il voit aujourd'hui. Alors, just to repeat it in English again, so we know that most of the fastest growing economies in the world are from Africa, so actually 5 out of 10 in 2022, and amongst them Senegal is part of the list, and we definitely know that with a young population there is such a high entrepreneurial spirit, and that's what Lekan mentioned as well in Nigeria. The element that we wanted to emphasize on again is how entrepreneurs are willing to find solutions, innovative solutions to solve certain issues. Alors, ma question pour toi, Amadou, serait qu'en tant qu'entrepreneur au Sénégal, quels sont les principaux facteurs qui distinguent l'écosystème entrepreneurial en Afrique? Et encore une fois, quand on parle de l'Afrique, c'est très large, c'est 54 pays différents. Donc, s'il te plaît, n'hésite pas à partager en fait les distinctions que l'on a selon les différentes régions. Et puis, surtout, comment est-ce qu'on arrive à promouvoir l'innovation au sein de l'Afrique? Merci.
La question de l'écosystème entrepreneurial, c'est une question très pertinente parce qu'on sait tous que sans un très bon milieu, un très bon écosystème, il est impossible d'avoir des champions. On peut voir éclore des startups de qualité et des entreprises de qualité, ça c'est sûr. Et si je prends l'exemple du Sénégal, on a des initiatives étatiques telles que la DPME, la DRFJ, le Fonds 6, le Fonds J. Et au-delà même de miser sur l'aspect entrepreneurial, il y a des agences étatiques qui vont aider les jeunes à se former. Donc aujourd'hui, sans une jeunesse de qualité, il est très difficile de voir émerger de très bonnes entreprises et de très bonnes startups. Donc aujourd'hui, si on élève à l'échelle macro, on voit aussi l'écosystème le plus dynamique, c'est l'écosystème du Nigeria. On peut en citer aussi l'Afrique du Sud, on peut citer le Kenya. Donc on voit des mastodontes qui ont émergé dans ces écosystèmes ces 5 dernières années, voire ces 10 dernières années. Donc aujourd'hui, l'écosystème africain est très dynamique. Et comme vous le voyez tous, on voit actuellement dans notre cas nous qui sommes dans la First Challenge, on reçoit actuellement l'appui de l'université de Concordia, il y a Inside Ventures. Donc, on sait, même qu'au-delà d'avoir des Africains qui vont soutenir l'écosystème, aujourd'hui, il y a des acteurs extérieurs qui font Concordia, Inside Ventures, d'autres écosystèmes qui sont hors africains, qui viennent soutenir l'entrepreneuriat en Afrique. Et peut-être je pense que d'ici les 10 prochaines années, on va voir peut-être émerger des Google, des Amazon, des Expo Logistique, pas mal de licornes qui vont sortir de l'Afrique et qui vont dynamiser tout en cherchant que c'est un marché qui potentiellement va exploser ce qu'il est dans les 10 voire 15 prochaines années. Donc actuellement, c'est le moment de semer les graines et de propulser à travers l'écosystème, et on salue les initiatives qui sont en train de prendre.
Excellent, merci Amadou. Alors, we'll go back to Morocco again with Sokayna. So we highlighted how entrepreneurs really play an heroic role at finding solutions for issues that they see within their communities. And when we talk about sustainable development and climate change, I particularly think about the most vulnerable people affected by it. And definitely Africa, and specifically with 2/3 of the population of the continent that is working in agriculture, we are definitely exposed to the issues related to climate change. And the topic that we hear a lot is not necessarily climate adaptation over there, but rather climate resilience. So how do we find solutions related to the impact imposed by climate change, such as drought? The question that I have for you, Sokayna, because we're very happy that your business is directly related to it, how to ensure that agriculture in Africa can be more climate resilient. So the question that I have for you, so through Jodoor, how does your entrepreneurial venture contribute to both environmental sustainability and also socio-economic development? And really, what is your view on the role of entrepreneurs in finding solutions for sustainable development in Africa? Thank you.
Thank you, Hawa, for this very pertinent question. Actually, through Jodoor, our entrepreneurial venture, we are deeply committed to addressing both environmental sustainability and socioeconomic development in Africa. First and foremost, Jodoor's core mission is to promote soilless-controlled environmental agriculture as a means to foster climate resilience in the agricultural sector. By providing affordable hydroponic-controlled greenhouses to farmers, we enable them to grow crops without soil using recirculating system that conserves water and reduces the need of fertilizers. This approach not only increases agricultural productivity, but also minimizes the impact on the environment by reducing water usage and eliminating the need for harmful pesticides. So through the controlled environment agriculture, we are actively contributing to the environmental sustainability. Talking about social impact, Jodoor recognizes that sustainable development cannot be achieved without considering socioeconomic factors. We aim to empower traditional farmers, particularly women, by giving them the tools and knowledge to thrive in the changing agricultural landscape. By equipping them with our hydroponic systems, providing training, and also ensuring a fair and fixed price for their produce, we are enhancing their income stability and livelihoods. This, in turn, contributes to poverty reduction and also socioeconomic development within the community we serve. Regarding the role of entrepreneurs in finding solutions for sustainable development in Africa, I firmly believe that entrepreneurs have a crucial role to play. We possess the creativity, innovation, and drive to tackle present challenges. As evidenced by our startup, Jodoor, entrepreneurship allows us to identify unmet needs and develop business models that address those needs in a sustainable manner. So by becoming profit-making with a social and environmental mission, we can drive positive change and contribute to the overall sustainable development of the continent. So finally, I believe that entrepreneurs have a vital role in finding innovative solutions for sustainable development in Africa, and we are committed to making a meaningful impact in this regard. I hope I managed to answer the question.
You managed it very well, Sokayna. Thank you. So now let's talk about finance. Like financing is definitely at the center of topics of most entrepreneurs, and particularly the ones at an early stage. And specifically in Africa, like entrepreneurs like face, very particular challenges, and also particular contexts where, for example, a large majority of businesses are not necessarily in the formal sector, or access to banking might be different than here. So we find different solutions in terms of financial services. Actually, fintech is the biggest sector that attracts VC investments in Africa. Now, the question that I have for Rukayat, the founder of Regxta, that try to find solutions for micro businesses or we talk about MSMEs, so not necessarily just small, medium enterprises, but really micro, small, and medium enterprises is a very important element to pay attention to. So the question that I have for you, Rukayat, so could you share more about your experience and insights in addressing funding accessibility and the challenges that you faced yourself, but also the challenges that you see around you amongst other entrepreneurs, whether it's in Nigeria or other African countries? Thank you.
MSME play a major role in most economies, particularly in developing countries. MSME also contributes to job creation and economic development. However, access to finance is a key constraint to the growth of MSMEs in emerging markets. They often rely on cash from family and friends to support their businesses, as they fail to meet the minimum banking requirements like collaterals. Some of the ways to curb this challenge faced by MSME is to implement support initiatives to support the small businesses, and also to improve credit infrastructure, which can lead to greater access to finance for the MSMEs. And lastly, access to early stage innovation finance would help MSMEs to grow and thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Rukayat. Now, I would like to talk about education, not because I work in this sector, but really we know how much it is important to invest into education. And as we've talked earlier, particularly in the young population. So definitely all of you five have benefited in a way or another from education in order to develop your own business. Now, the question that I have is for Brian. Brian, as mentioned earlier, has created a company, an edtech and fintech company, in order to ensure that education is more accessible. So the question that I have for you, Brian, is what motivated you to establish a business specifically focused on enhancing access to education? And in what ways has your own educational journey encompassed both formal education and experiential learning shaped your own entrepreneurial journey? Thank you so much.
Education is the key to unlocking opportunities and transforming lives. But sadly, not everyone has equal access to quality education. Today, I want to share with you a story, a personal experience, a belief in the power of education, and a commitment to making a difference. Growing up, I faced a significant challenge paying school fees. It was a struggle that highlighted the financial barriers that many individuals encounter in pursuing their education. But this experience shaped my entrepreneurial journey and ignited a passion within me to establish a business focused on enhancing access to education. Through Karopay, we are dedicated to breaking down barriers and ensuring educational access to all. We leverage technology, innovative approaches, and strategic partnerships to provide individuals with affordable or even free access to high-quality educational resources. We believe that education should be a right, not a privilege. It is a powerful tool that empowers individuals, fosters personal growth, and fuels social mobility. Our mission is to make education accessible for those who face financial constraints, just like I did. We offer financial aid, scholarships, and innovative financial models to ensure that lack of resources doesn't limit anyone's educational opportunities. Together, we can create a more equitable and inclusive society, a society where education is a transformative force that changes lives and paves the way for a prosperous future. According to the World Bank, every additional year of schooling for a young person can increase their future earnings by an average of 10%. And join us in our journey to enhance educational access. Let's unlock the potential of individuals, foster innovation, and build a better world through education. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And really to echo the importance of education, Madiba said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So thank you. We are now at the end of this panel. I would like to sincerely thank our panelists and also congratulate them for, yes, their entrepreneurial journey, but really trying to solve solutions within their own community. And thank you everyone who have been here, whether it is in person or remotely, having your ears and also listening to this panel and participate to it was much appreciated. And last but not least, the International Economic Forum organization, thank you so much for your support and your help, especially in a place where we had to adapt ourselves. It is definitely one of the first times that we have to organize an hybrid event like that. And just to have a call for action, we understood and we hope that this panel really inspired you and also highlighted the importance in investing in youth and particularly in youth entrepreneurship and how much potential it has not only for the whole continent, but the whole world. And also, as Graham Carr was saying earlier, please do not just watch us, join us. We will be very happy to have, conversation around it, but also participating in your own way to invest in youth in Africa, which has so much potential. And going back to the panel, just before us, they mentioned that it is important to see the world at large. And yes, we do not have to outlook Africa. Africa is a continent with untapped potential, and it's very important to invest in its youth, to transform it not only into demographic growth, but also talents with full of potential. Thank you so much.